In this video, I try to answer two questions. What would Jordan have done in Cleveland if he was drafted in '03? And how long until he won a title? Let's make some rules so this video doesn't turn into a 3-hour mess of speculating what everyone, including the equipment managers, would have done differently. Number 1. Jordan gets drafted first overall to make things easy. Number 2. LeBron James doesn't exist in this timeline because that storyline is a video on its own. Number 3. There is no chosen one narrative for Jordan. Number 4. No outlandish trades like Boozer for Garnett, just realistic speculation. Number 5. I'm not going to speculate what Jordan would do on social media or off the court. Let's start analyzing the 2003 Cavaliers. Notable players are Ricky Davis, Jeff McInnes, Carlos Boozer, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, and Darius Miles. At first glance, these players look like they're average at best. What could MJ have done with this team? Let's address the elephant in the room. Carlos Boozer made one of the biggest troll moves I've ever heard about. He tricked the team into releasing him from his rookie contract so that he could sign a long-term contract with them. But instead, he signed with the Jazz. Why would anyone do that when they have the chosen one on their team? It's no secret that Carlos Boozer, Darius Miles, and others did not like the hype surrounding LeBron, and they weren't shy about voicing it, with Miles saying,
I don't think you can really just bring a high school player in and really just think your team gonna really turn around like that.
Boozer and Miles had received some hype in their short careers, and I think they were offended that no one believed they could be the future of the franchise. I think that's why Carlos Boozer screwed them like he did. Since MJ didn't come into the league with the chosen one hype, would the team and MJ come together instead of falling apart? Boozer was a solid role player, and with Michael on the team, I think he stays and commits to the process. Darius Miles is a 6'9" small forward that was an okay shooter. His best year, he shot 50%, and his worst, 41%. He had a lot of potential and could have benefited from playing with a strong leader. Ricky Davis, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, and Jeff McInnes are also decent role players that would have benefited from playing with a strong leader too. What about Jordan's leadership method? We've learned from player accounts, the media, and documentaries like The Last Dance that Jordan was an intense drill sergeant. He demanded everyone to push themselves like he did, and if they did, he would be happy with the results regardless of the outcome. If you did not fall in line with his expectations, you would not be a Bull for very long. People today call Jordan a bully because of his leadership style, and some players have even spoken out about how they felt being berated by him. Let's not forget that the world was different in the 90s. It doesn't excuse anyone's actions today or then, but I think that if people from back then knew what we know now, they would make different choices than the ones they initially made. With that being said, I think MJ would hold the same expectations from his teammates. I think he would go about getting similar results, but in a different way in Cleveland. Since his upbringing would not have been in the trash-talking alpha male era, maybe his approach wouldn't be to bully his teammates into getting his way. Would this new approach be as effective as his approach in Chicago? I think it will be the reason the Cavaliers fail or succeed. The starting lineup going into the 2003 season would be: at point guard, Jeff McInnes; at shooting guard, Michael Jordan; small forward, Ricky Davis; power forward, Carlos Boozer; at center, Zydrunas Ilgauskas; and their sixth man, Darius Miles. I think this team can earn 28 to 36 wins, which isn't spectacular, but isn't horrendous either. Michael Jordan makes an immediate impact, averaging 27 points per game, winning Rookie of the Year and sneaking into the playoffs in the Eastern Conference as the 7th seed. and losing in the first round. The team begins to believe in MJ and the future of the team. They buy into MJ's process and leadership more and more and begin to make strides in team chemistry. Carlos Boozer continues to be a reliable player. Jeff McInnes, a wily vet, has his ups and downs but ends the season strong. Ricky Davis continues to be reliable and elevates his game in the presence of MJ. Darius Miles begins to make improvements as well as bought into the process, and Ilgauskas keeps playing the big man role we know him for. How do the first few years play out? Originally, Boozer screws the team, and the majority of the 03 roster flames out and is replaced, starting a revolving door of players coming through. Within 2 years, everyone except LeBron and Ilgauskas was gone. The Cavs had also been taking some swings in free agency and the draft. Players you might remember they were part of the Cavs in the early LeBron years, but were quickly gone are Jason Compono to the expansion draft, Robert Traylor, Anderson Varejao, Danny Green, Ben Wallace, Mo Williams, Drew Gooden, to name a few players that could have done well under Michael Jordan's leadership and contributed to a championship. What would those first few years be like with Jordan? I don't think that the team would become a juggernaut just because Jordan was drafted to the team. What's most likely is that, like with the Bulls, some players will fit in and elevate, and others will not and be replaced. I personally always thought, what if, when thinking about Darius Miles? One moment he was in movies, and just like Kaiser Soze, he was gone. Carlos Boozer, despite the adversity in his career, managed to average a career 15 points per game and was a solid power forward. I wonder if he played with Jordan, would he have elevated to an 18 or 20 point per game player? From the 2003 roster, my best guess is that Darius Miles and Carlos Boozer would be the ones to buy into the process and elevate their game because of the leadership of Michael Jordan, and become the foundation that Cleveland needs to start building a championship contending team. In 2004, the Phoenix Suns made a big move signing free agent Steve Nash. During the first few years with LeBron, Cleveland took some big risks in free agency and the draft. They drafted guys like Luke Jackson, Dejon Wagner, Trajan Langdon, and let guys go like Andre Miller and Ricky Davis that could have excelled under Jordan's leadership. I think that the Cavs would be open to signing Steve Nash to pair with Jordan, Boozer, and Miles, and re-sign McInnes and Davis. Prior to Nash signing with Phoenix, there was a lot of doubt that he even deserved a big contract because he was 30 and coming off a significant back injury. Signing a player with a lot of potential, but with a lot of perceived risk, is the type of gamble the Cavs were known for at the time. Due to the Cavs' wild approach to signing and drafting players during this time, I think they offer more to Nash than the Suns do. After witnessing Michael Jordan's rookie season, I think Steve Nash would love to finish his career playing with Jordan in Cleveland. From here, the team would need to focus on drafting players to complement the starting lineup, build a solid bench, and bring in veterans to help cultivate a championship pedigree. Picking 10th in the first round would leave the Cavs with opportunities to draft key players like Al Jefferson, Josh Smith, J.R. Smith, or trade up for a successor to Nash and Sean Livingston. In 2004, the Cavaliers show flashes of what they can become, but are still dealing with growing pains. By the end of the season, the team is starting to find its form and managed to win 39 to 46 games and win their first playoff series, but lose in the second round as they lack experience, confidence, and poise. The starting lineup for the 2005 season is Steve Nash, Michael Jordan, Darius Miles, Carlos Boozer, and Zydrunas Ilgauskas. This season, Ilgauskas is re-signed, and Varejao starts to make improvements and looks like a successor to Z. The Cavs also sign a veteran, Alonzo Mourning, to mentor Varejao, as well as sign Ben Wallace for depth. the focus of the draft switches for the Cavs. They no longer are taking wild swings, but are now focused on quality prospects that will become role players to add depth. A mid to late round pick would leave the Cavs with a chance to draft any of these prospects: Danny Granger, Nate Robinson, Gerald Green, and Jarrett Jack. In 2005, the Cavs make a big jump in team chemistry. They end the regular season with 48 to 55 wins and take the playoffs by storm, but lose in the conference finals. Michael Jordan and the Cavs are not fazed. They know they are on the right path, and it's just a matter of time until they win their first title. In 2006, the Cavs have emerged as championship contenders and are able to win 59 to 68 games. It's clear that the Cavs have hit full stride and are poised for success in the playoffs. We see career years from Nash, Jordan, Boozer, and big improvements in Miles and Z. The Cavs show no interest in making free agency moves, but are dialed in on continuing to build the team through the draft. A late pick in the first round would leave us with a chance to draft any of these players: Rajon Rondo, Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker, and Paul Millsap. The Cavaliers easily make it to the finals in 2006, where they face the San Antonio Spurs and win their first title in 6 games, making Jordan a champion in his 4th year. To be continued. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.